Hello guys, my name is Arnob and today I am going to tell you how to solve this problem called Naruto and rectangles. This was the 7th problem of the Codewar contest. Now let's see what this problem wants us to solve. So we have been given n non-negative integers which are called a1, a2 till an, where each represents a point at the coordinate I, ai. N vertical lines are drawn such that two endpoints of line I is at I, ai and I, 0. One thing to notice here is that the x coordinate is I, it is constant, and the y coordinate changes. So this means it's a vertical line. So basically, if our n is 4, we have been given 4 lines. ai represents the y coordinate of the lines and I represents the x coordinate. So we have these 4 lines which are of height 5, 7, 5, 7. Okay, now Naruto wants to draw a rectangle using these lines. The base should be x-axis, while the two sides should be any two lines from the above given lines. So the base is going to be the x-axis and so the base is going to be the x-axis, while the two sides should be any two lines from the given above given lines. The other lines will magically disappear. Note that he cannot move the lines. The only action done by Naruto is to draw the top line of the rectangle by connecting any two lines. So basically what he wants us to do is to draw the top line of any two lines and form the rectangle. So if I try to connect this first line with this last line, I need to join them, but I cannot join them like this. This will not form a rectangle. What I need to do is form a rectangle, and for that I will be choosing the minimum height out of these two lines. Whichever line has the minimum height, I am going to choose that and draw a perpendicular to the adjacent side, and thus we have this rectangle. Now we need to find the rectangle that has the largest area. Okay, now let's see what are the input and the output constraints. So input has t number of test cases, and for each of those test cases there is a variable n, and n contains next after this variable n we have an array of n numbers which represent the y coordinate of the lines. Output, we need to output a single line, the maximum area of the rectangle formed. The constraints are that n is more than equal to 2 and less than equal to 10 to the power 5. So we need to solve this problem in on time complexity. This is a sample input. Over here we can see that the second line and the last line will form the largest rectangle of area 49. So let's take an example and try to solve it. Now how we are going to solve it? We are going to use a way. It's a way of solving problems. It's called two pointers. So what we have is we have 2 pointers. Let's call them P1 and P2. So these will point to 2 lines at a time. So initially P1 points to the first line and P2 points to the last line. Now we will try to find what is the area of the rectangle between P1 and P2. So what is the rectangle that P1 and P2 make? We saw earlier that it's going to be a rectangle like this, right? So what is the area of this rectangle? That's nothing but the minimum height of the two lines multiplied by the difference between the two x coordinates. So that comes out to be 5 into 3, which is 15. Alright, now what we are going to do is we are going to move the pointers. We are going to keep on moving the pointers till P1 and P2 are right next to each other. Okay, so we move P1 to the right and we move P2 to the left. Now which one do we move next? Should we move P1 or should we move P2? If I had moved P2 to the left, then we get a rectangle which looks like this. If I moved P2 to the right, we would have got a rectangle which looks like this. One thing to notice here is that if I had given up my larger height pointer, then in the next line the height decreases. As a result, this rectangle has smaller area than this rectangle. So what we are going to do is we are going to move that pointer which has the lower height, and we are going to keep the pointer which has the higher height, because we need to always make sure that our height is maximum at that particular point. So what we are going to do in this case is that we are going to move P1 to the right because it has the lower height. So P1 now points to the second line. For the second line, we get a rectangle like this, and for this the area is nothing but 7 into 2, which is 14. So next area is 14. Now what to do? Should we move P1 or should we move P2? Well, what I'm going to do is it really doesn't matter if the two pointers point to lines which have the same height. So I'm going to move P2. Alright, so I'm going to move P2, and P2 will now refer to this line. So we get a rectangle something like this, and this has an area of 5 into 1, which is 5. So we get 3 rectangles. The maximum is this one, 15. So our answer is 15. So let's see how to code this. So I have taken the input, I have written this in Python. I've taken the input in test variable. This signifies the test number, n signifies the size of the array, and ARR signifies the array containing the y coordinates. Now we are going to print the result by computing the operation on this array. Now our operation is being computed by this function called max area. So max area takes an array as its function argument, and we have these variables called left and right, which are the 2 pointers. Initially left points to 0 and right points to length of height minus 1. Our area is initially 0. Now while left is less than right, we'll be finding the width and we'll be finding the maximum area. We'll finding the area of the current rectangle by multiplying with the minimum of the 2 heights. Alright, now we see whichever height is lower, we move that pointer. If left pointer is lower, if left pointer is right pointer is lower, we move the right pointer. If left pointer is lower, we move the left pointer. If both of them are same, then left pointer will be moved, and it doesn't really matter which one we are moving in case both are same, and we'll be returning the area, maximum area. So let's submit this solution, and then we can discuss about the time complexity. So I'll be hitting on submit. I'll be choosing Python, and here I go. Let's submit this. Okay, so while this goes on, let's talk about the time complexity. So over here, what's the time complexity is that we are using these 2 pointers to traverse the array. Okay, so this is our correct answer. We got a correct answer. So our pointer moves across the array from left to right, just like this. So P1 pointer traverses from here to here, P2 traverses from last line to second last line. So we cover all the points in the array only once. We visit all the lines in the array only once. So this whole operation is an ON operation. This takes on time, right? O of n. So our time complexity is nothing but O of n. What about the space complexity? We are just using three variables, so space complexity is nothing but O of 3. Okay, so this is our space and time complexity. I hope you guys understood what I tried telling you about this problem, how to solve this problem. In case you have any doubts regarding this problem, you can feel free to write down in the comments and we will address them. Thank you.